Well, you know what? I guess we'll just start over from the very, very beginning. Let's go back to the very beginning here. Sorry about that. You know, that is the importance of a mic check, okay? Um, okay. Anyway, how are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing good. I'm doing good. And let's talk about the weather. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I've got some people left still on the here on the Facebook. Okay, it has been hot lately. We've had some high temperatures lately that have been close to 100. Matter of fact, we hit 100 yesterday. Day before that, very close. I believe it was 99. So you're thinking to yourself, it's already been hot. Yes, it has. But I think this heat wave is just now getting started. We're going to see really hot temperatures over the next several days as this upper level ridge of high pressure just expands and develops across the southwestern portion of the country and including Texas. So if you haven't lived here in South Texas very long, or Texas for that matter, these tend to happen from time to time in the summer. We have a big ridge of high pressure that develops, and two things happen. One, no chance for rainfall really. Hardly any clouds in the sky. That's the way it will. That's what will happen. And then temperatures really warm up. And if we're fortunate, we'll dry out. And that way the heat index won't really exceed the temperatures. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. Now, that probably won't happen until Saturday or into Sunday. So until then, we're going to have some pretty big heat index values. 84 degrees is the temperature outside right now at Calaveras Lake, also around 84. Do have a heat advisory for north central Texas, also for the San Angelo area and for the Abilene area, and down towards Corpus Christi. We've got a heat advisory. And what does that mean? Well, the heat index will exceed 110 degrees in those areas. Now, we're going to be close. We don't have a heat advisory here across most of south central Texas. We've got a couple of our southern counties that are included, but if you're doing anything outside for a length of time, you want to be careful because, again, the heat advisory is not in effect for us, but the heat index will be around 106, I think, later on this afternoon. Now, this is really interesting. Notice how if either the county is in the advisory area or it's not in the advisory area. Almost all these counties. So, since we can and since we've got some time, let's look out west. Why in the world would these counties, why would they be partial? Why only some of the county and not the entire county? I'll give you a second to think about it. Yeah, the elevation. Those are the mountains. If you're at a higher elevation, then chances are you will not have as high of a heat index. So hopefully you thought that was interesting. Anyway, all right, we do have a heat advisory in effect for Cotulla and also for Beeville, Tilden, and down around George West, where the heat index should exceed 110 degrees. Let's take a look at the high temperature yesterday. We hit 100 degrees, 101 New Braunfels, but boy, isn't it nice to live in the hill country. That elevation really helps out. Fredericksburg high temperature was 93, Kerrville 97, Rock Springs around 95 degrees was the high yesterday. Now, the heat index, though, that's a totally different story. The heat index was really high. We hit, I think, 105. That's what it felt like yesterday afternoon. And down around Pleasanton felt like about 107 degrees as well. So some pretty high heat index values. So, and I said this heat wave is just getting started. Okay, so temperatures are going to start going up even higher. Let's take a look at the temperatures across the area. We're in the mid-80s, 84, down around George West, 87, Beeville, 87, and up into the hill country, we've got temperatures in the upper 70s, around 79 there, and Del Rio's coming in at about 85. Dew point, 72 outside. That gives us a heat index of 90 degrees already. Yeah, it's getting hot already. Seguin 93, New Braunfels 93, and Pearsall feels like 96. What time is it? 9:30 in the morning, and it already feels like 96 degrees at Cotulla and also Pearsall. Down around Victoria feels like about 99. But look at Bay City. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Bay City feels like 108. Port Lavaca feels like 104. Why the big heat index values along the coast? It's usually the way it starts off around midday. That's when you'll have your highest heat index values along the coastal sections until the sea breeze kicks in, and then that'll help to cut the heat. Because the temperature right now in Port Lavaca and Bay City, let's take a look at that. Temperature there, Port Lavaca is at 90 degrees right now, okay, and we're at 84. But the dew point is 78 in Port Lavaca, and that gives them a real healthy heat index there in Port Lavaca at, let's see, yeah, 104 already. My goodness, 90 degrees is what we've got. But again, the hill country, getting off easy there. Temperatures, at least it feels like temperature in Fredericksburg is 82, and Rock Springs feels like about 78. Okay, I want you to take a look at this. This is the water vapor imagery. What we're looking at is the amount of moisture just in the middle portions of the atmosphere, okay? So you've got the upper level ridge of high pressure that's building out west, but this is from 2 days ago. And I want you to look at how we've got a lot of gray here across the state of Texas, even some white areas, and those big blue patches, those are thunderstorms across the central portion of the state. So we had enough moisture to work with that we had some rain across portions of the state, not here, but portions of the state Tuesday. And even yesterday, I think we had a few. Yeah, very few right there. Okay, now watch what happens when I put this in motion. This upper level ridge of high pressure is just starting to take shape. Look at all that orange shade, that tan shade across the state, back into Oklahoma and also New Mexico. That is very dry air in the mid levels of the atmosphere. And now we've got a little bit of a circle there in the height lines that are starting to develop around New Mexico and El Paso. That's that upper level ridge of high pressure, that heat wave that is just starting to build across the state of Texas. And once you have that tan shade move over the state, forget about rainfall. Very hard for us to see any kind of rain. Matter of fact, the cap is going to be real strong over the next several days. As a matter of fact, I don't think we've got a chance for some rain until maybe the 18th, and that is bad news because the aquifer continues to drop. We're getting very close to 660 on that 10-day average, and I think it's just a matter of time before we have stage 1 water restrictions. I think it's just coming within the next week or so. All right, so we've got this upper level ridge that's definitely building. Look at that. Boy, that is huge and massive. Look how much territory that high takes up as we head into the weekend, all the way from Wyoming, back into the Pacific, northern Mexico, southern plains, Texas, all under that upper level ridge of high pressure. And according to this, it doesn't max out until Sunday. Now, one thing's for sure, these models, after a few days, really starts to build in some climatology, and what that means is it'll have a tendency to decrease the upper level ridge of high pressure and weaken it prematurely. So it could stay even longer into next week, and I think that's probably going to be the case. I mean, this is to look at Monday, let's say Tuesday still around in a weaker state, but still there, and I think that's going to be the case. So I'm going to go with persistence, at least for the early next week. Therefore, the next 7 to 10 days, just don't count on much rainfall. Temperatures may drop a little bit, but it's still going to be very hot, and then I think some records are going to fall. So as we head through the day-to-day, clouds out there right now, but later on this afternoon, mostly sunny skies. The computer model says 100, I think probably 101, and air temperature in Cotulla could reach about 106 degrees. And taking a look at the heat index, I think later this afternoon, this particular computer model, I can't remember which one I'm using. I think I'm using ICAST, but either way, heat index anywhere from 104 to 106, yes. Down around Cotulla, that's why we've got a heat advisory. Matter of fact, I mean, Carrizo Springs really should have been included as well in that heat advisory probably. Beeville, also many locations are going to see heat index values that are around 110 or so. Let's see, why Beeville's 104? I don't know. The heat index is going to be greater than that in Beeville. There's no doubt about it. Okay, this is one thing I don't like to see with that upper level ridge of high pressure. This is the forecast precipitation all the way through the 19th. This is just one computer model. I believe this is the European. It's got 0 rain for us all the way through the 19th. That'd be very bad. We're going to be looking at water restrictions. We're going to be looking at the drought monitor is going to increase. Just this time of the year, bad things happen when we don't get rain, and I think that's where we're headed, so unfortunately. Let's take a look at what might become Faye. Now, this is a real disorganized system on the East Coast. You know, on this infrared satellite imagery, you see the clouds that are more pronounced. You don't really see the low-level swirl. If you can follow, I don't think you can follow my hand signal there, but anyway, there is a low-level swirl of low pressure. It's just off the coast of North Carolina, but most of the thunderstorms are kind of dislocated away from the circle of the center of circulation. So it's a very unhealthy state right now. But the National Hurricane Center gives us an 80% chance of development, but either if it develops or not, it's not going to affect us here in South Texas whatsoever. But the interesting thing is we'll already be into our F name. If it does develop, it'll be Faye. All right, let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. High today, I think about 101. Tomorrow, why did that change like that? Anyway, tomorrow 102. The record for tomorrow is 102. Saturday, I think we'll hit 104. The record is 104. Sunday, I think we'll hit 106. The record is 103. Now, a couple things are going to happen. Next couple of days, it's going to be humid. So today, we've got about 101, heat index anywhere from 104 to 106, something like that. It's still going to be humid on Friday, so 102, but it's going to feel like 106, 107. Really hot. Be careful out there. Saturday, humidity should start to decrease. With these upper level ridges of high pressure, you start to see surface humidities on the decrease in the afternoons. So the heat index will still be pretty high on Saturday at 107, but should start to come down by Sunday. So basically what you see is what you get, but with the drier humidity, or not as much humidity, the temperature will go up. So I think that's why I'm going to bounce the temperatures up a little bit on Sunday and Monday to around 105, 106. I hope we don't hit that 106 on Sunday. I'm going to tell you why. Because that'll tie the all-time record high for the month of July for San Antonio. So this is not your ordinary heat wave. There's going to be some heat here. The record for the date is 103. I think we're going to beat that. And Monday, the record is 102. I think we're going to beat that as well with 105 high. And then on Tuesday, record's 102. We'll be close to it, and 102 on Wednesday. I just don't see why things would change, at least into the mid part of next week. So what I'm trying to tell you is be careful if you have to work outside. Be careful if you're spending some time outdoors. It is definitely going to be hot, and you definitely want to take it serious. And we're going to see some records, I think, broke over the next several days. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. But anyway, hey, for more information, you want to watch Stacia Wilson. She's going to be coming up at noon at 4, 5, and 6. Of course, we'll have more weather. I believe it's Bill Taylor this evening, I believe. And again, we really appreciate you watching in the morning. Watch us every morning. And also, we appreciate you being here on YouTube and Facebook. All right. Well, have a great day. It's good to see you. We'll see you later.